Hello there, my name's Annette with Sunbeam Fabric Art. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be using almost the last of my Batik 10-inch squares. First I sorted these Batik squares into lighter and darker squares. I have more darks than lights. For each of my blocks, I need 1 light and 2 dark. And you'll need the total number of squares to equal the total number of blocks you want to finish with. And I'm just picking 3 fabrics that I think will look nice together. Next, I'm stacking up a total of 6. My 2 darks, my light, with 2 darks and a light. I feel comfortable cutting 6 at the same time. Each stack of 6 gets the same 2 cuts. Then I place 1 top fabric of a triangle on the bottom and 2 top triangles of the opposite side on the bottom. Now it was really important to keep the set of 6 together because each set of 6 has a little bit different cuts, even though they kind of look the same. What I'm trying out here is making sort of a fan shape for the biggest piece with just those 2 triangles on each side. Now you can see I've got the large stack of my sets of 6, and what I'm doing is taking 1 set of 6 off the top, moving the rest over to the side because the cuts on the next 6 are going to be slightly different, so I don't want to mix and match sets. I'm going to go through these 6 and I'm going to chain piece the right-sided triangle first. Then I will break that chain and add on the left side triangle. So I got that first set of 6, the right side triangle stitched on. Now I'm going to flip these around the opposite way and sew that other triangle on the opposite side. Now we can separate that chain and take a look at what our finished block will look like before being trimmed down. I continued chain piecing my stacks, and I chain pieced them in groups of 6. Remember, I made these cuts in groups of 6, so I have to keep those same sets together when I stitch them back. With all 48 blocks put together, it's time to press these flat, and I am just pressing these seams toward the outside of the block. You can press them any way you want to. I'm trimming my blocks to 9 inches. For the left side and the bottom side of my ruler, I want to make sure the fabric overlaps that 9-inch mark and that I have overlapping on the right and the top. Then I will trim off the right and the top. I will flip my block around the opposite way, and then I will trim after lining up the left and bottom on 9 inches. I will trim away the top and the right. Next, I spent a little time shuffling these blocks into stacks of 6. This way I wouldn't have 2 fabrics right next to each other. I wanted to shuffle that up a little bit. My fan blocks are all going the same direction with smallest on one side and largest part of the fan on the other side. I decided to make a flower type block by pointing 4 of the fans with the smallest side to the middle. Because there were so many similar colors in these blocks, I did lay out my quilt ahead of time. My layout is 6 rows by 8 columns. And I'm just dividing up, making sure I don't have 2 bright greens next to each other or 2 bright blues next to each other. I want to disperse as much as I can. Once I had the final layout decided, I stacked up pairs top to bottom and took those to the sewing machine and chain pieced the whole stack. Once I finished the first round of putting 2 blocks together, I went back through the stack and started putting 2 pairs together, and then I added that last pair to complete each row. Once all the rows were done, it was time to put 2 rows together. Now I know that I want my rows to make a flower shape, so I can hold these 2 rows together and make sure that those small points of the fans are going to the inside. I didn't use clips on this first go around. I was just able to line up my rows at the top, and then I nested the seam between blocks as I went along. Now I have 3 sets of 2 rows that have been assembled together. So I took 2 sets, put them right sides together, starting at the top, lining those 2 edges up. I nested seams between blocks as I went along. Putting these rows together was just a little bit more bulky than I wanted. I went ahead and finished those, but when I added on the other 2 rows, I did use pins to hold all this in place before I sewed it together. And here's a look at my finished quilt top. I love these bright batik colors. I love the flower look to this quilt. I think these flowers would look so adorable in just about any colorway you can think of. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you back again real soon.